Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my second video ever and I am so sorry that it took forever. Yeah, we're not even gonna talk about why, but I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy that you're here. My name is Sara Moreno Duque and welcome again. Today we're going to be speaking about my childhood and even a little bit about my high school experience. I just wanted to share a few of the little gems that I've been able to receive, and even just tips and advice that I've been very fortunate to have mentors and people that have poured so much into me. So I am originally from Medellin, Colombia. I was born there. Shout out to all of my Colombians, to my beautiful country. And I moved to the United States with my mom when I was only 2. As a young parent, my mom definitely had to encounter a lot of difficulties as a first generation, as someone who doesn't speak the language. As a lot of you can relate, I grew up being the person to translate for my mom. I grew up to be the person that a lot of times had to step in to make sure that, people weren't trying my mom. And my mom is someone that's super vocal, very brave, very outgoing. And one thing about her is she was going to figure it out. And one thing about her is that I never doubted that she was going to get anything that she put her mind to. So a lot of you know my mom. A lot of y'all know how much of a beautiful and amazing and strong Latina that she is. And I'm just very thankful that I was able to, be her daughter and have some of the traits that she's passed down to me. And I'm just thankful for everything that she has poured into me. So, although I had a very supportive mother growing up, there was a few things that were very difficult for me, even as a student. I remember that there was times when I would be separated from some of my classmates because I couldn't read at the same level. I couldn't understand certain things. And I'm just super thankful for my ESOL teachers who stepped in and who really helped me during those challenging times. So shout out to all of my teachers, all my teacher friends, and all teachers around the world. You are really doing the work, and we appreciate everything that you do for us and our kids. I don't have kids, but for everyone's kids. And yes, so I just wanted to share a little bit about that, and you can imagine some of those insecurities that came with not being able to be at the same level as everybody else, or be able to understand some of the jokes or some of the things that my classmates were saying. But we pushed through. We made it through kindergarten, we made it through first grade, and we made it out of elementary school. So shout out to my teachers, and shout out to my best friend Amira, who really carried me along the way and made elementary school so special for me. And yeah, so we move into middle school. That's when we're all kind of trying to figure out, who we are, our purpose in life. So I would say middle school for me was probably one of the brightest, one of the happiest times that I have. I know that it is different for everybody, but I think my experience, especially because I went through a really difficult experience the first few years of middle school. After that, after I was able to work through that, after I was able to, seek help and have, certain people in my life that were really there to give me that advice, to pour into me, I would say that middle school is definitely one of the brightest times for me. And, my family faced a lot of financial issues and a lot of financial situations during that time, which I know were very difficult because I remember living through them. But I will say, and I think that a lot of us can relate to this, that one thing about our parents, one thing about especially being immigrant parents is we're gonna figure it out. Yes, we might be low for a few months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, but our parents were always going to figure it out. And I think that's that mentality of I can't let down my family. I left everything that I had in my country, and I'm talking as if from my parents' perspective, from my mom's perspective. She left everything in Colombia to be able to give me everything that I needed here in the United States. So even though we went through some struggles, even though we went through some hard times, and even though sometimes, like, you know, like, food was a challenging topic at times, we always found something, and we always found a way. We always made it work. And I'm just, again, extremely thankful for my parents and for everything that they did. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that too. Like, it's the 1, 2, 3 jobs that really made us, you know, get through those hard times, and all those efforts and all that strength that came behind that really does not go in vain. And, you know, this is why we're here. This is why we keep pushing. And I hope that, you know, during your darkest times, or during times where you just are really not feeling it, like, I hope you remind yourself of, like, everything that your parents poured into you. And, you know, sometimes I know we face that, like, guilt of, like, wow, my parents worked so hard and I get to go on vacation, or, like, my parents worked so hard. And, you know, some of us, like, our parents might not have residency, or might not have citizenship where they can come in and out of the country. So sometimes we have that guilt of, like, wow, like, you know, like, my parents don't get to do these things, although they put in so much work to get me to where I'm at. But I just ask, and I just, you know, this is something that I've constantly have had to tell myself. It's like, yes, your parents work hard, and yes, your parents continue to work hard, and yes, we're going to feel that guilt. We're going to feel that guilt, but remember that you are here, and you're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose, and you are deserving of all the beautiful things that your parents have been able to provide for you. You're deserving of those trips. You're deserving of those nice things, because I'm sure, like, we always go back and share those nice memories, those nice things with our parents. And that is one of the biggest things for me. Like, I want to be super successful. I want to continue to work really hard. I want to continue, like, yes, money comes and goes, but I want to be in a financial state and be financially stable where I can provide for my mom, where she doesn't have to clean houses anymore, where she can just be at peace, like, on a beach, like, living her best life. So during those rough times, during those times where you feel like, man, life is really lifing, like, just remind yourself that you are doing everything that you can to give your parents the life that they deserve, and you're doing everything that you can to provide for them in, you know, in the ways that you can at the moment. So yeah, that's, like, I think I went on 10,000 tangents, but that was something that was in my heart and that I wanted to share with you guys. So now let's talk about high school. High school was extremely challenging for me. So I actually went to GSMST. It's Gwinnett School of Math, Science, and Technology. Shout out to all my people from Gwinnett. GCO, if you know, you know. If you don't, well, sorry. But yes, so I went to GSMST, very difficult school. I actually failed math my first semester, and that kind of, like, put me in a really weird start. Because then I had to work really, really, really hard to bring my GPA up and, you know, make it through sophomore year, junior year, senior year. But one thing I will say that I learned going to GSMST and being in such a competitive space, and in a space where a lot of people didn't really understand, like, where I came from, and didn't really have the same backgrounds. And some did, right? Some did, but it was also, I'm very thankful that I was put into that environment, because it allowed me and it challenged me in ways that I had never been challenged in my life. I was taking engineering classes, I was doing AutoCAD, I was using all these softwares that I had never in my life heard. So although yes, it was challenging, I think that it did in a way prepare me for college, exposed me to a lot of interesting topics, exposed me to such amazing people. I met my best friend, Nia, who is currently in medical school. We are so proud of you and we love you, Nia. Everyone that knows me knows Nia. Everyone that knows me knows Amara. Like, shout out to y'all for being part of my childhood and all of the crazy stuff that I've gone through. So yeah, I would say that one of my biggest advice for anyone that is in high school right now is don't compare yourself to other people. And I know that's kind of cliche to say, because like sometimes like we sit here and we're like, dang, like this person like is getting all A's, or like, dang, like this person is like doing this and going here and going there and has all these like internship opportunities. Like, don't compare your life. Like, work hard and work as hard as you can to be able to continue and to get the grades that you need to get. Like, obviously, like, try to work as hard as you can to get those A's, but don't push yourself into a space where you're comparing your life to other people. Like, I think that was one of the biggest things for me. Like, I was comparing my life to other people, and like, respectfully, like, my life is different and I grew up differently, and I am a first generation student. And I think for the longest time, like, I didn't embrace that and I didn't really understand what it meant. But being a first generation student is hard. Like, you're figuring stuff out in a completely different world. You go home and like you're talking one language, and then you go to school and you're talking another language. And like, yes, like there's a lot of things that interconnect, but also there's a lot of things that you kind of have to figure out. So just be patient with yourself, like extend yourself that grace. Yes, work hard, but just my biggest advice is like, don't compare yourself, or try not to compare yourself, because at the end of the day, you're going to get into college. At the end of the day, you're going to get scholarships. At the end of the day, you're going to live a beautiful life. And I know that sounds like, I would say like super optimistic, but it's true. Like, I could sit here and talk about all the different things that I went through while I was in high school, and I can, like, we could sit down and talk. That's why I said I'm going to provide my email so that we can, you know, if you have certain issue that you're going through, or certain, I wouldn't say issue, but if you're going through a certain challenge in high school, like, feel free to reach out to me. Like, I am here to support. I'm here to be here for you. And I just hope that you find this space, a space where you can relate to my experience, but also have someone that, you know, does care and wants to be there. So yes, so that's a little bit about my high school experience. And like I said, I applied to college and I got into Georgia State. So it all worked out. And I also want to insert here as well, like, if you're a DACA student, there is resources out there. There is schools that you can also apply to. And I can definitely create a video about that, and also resources that you can look into. But yes, if you have DACA, like, please know that you can also apply to college. There is a lot of colleges or private universities here in Georgia that you can apply to, and really around the United States, that will provide funding and will help DACA students, and Georgia State as well. We're working on trying to get funding and trying to get in-state tuition at Georgia State. It hasn't been done yet, but Georgia State is also an option for DACA students. So that being said, I kind of went over a little bit, 13 minutes now, but my message for this video is, don't compare yourself. Your life is completely different. You've been through different traumas. You've lived completely different lives. You have different parents, you have different family, different siblings. Like, we're our own unique story, and let our story be unique to everybody else. Why be like everybody else when you could just be you, right? So I leave you with that. Please comment, please email me, please send me any questions that you have, anything that I can do to help. I'm here, and I'm so happy that you allowed for me to be in your space, and I hope that this video was helpful in any type of way. And if it wasn't, please comment that. Like, be like, you talk too much about this, or you could elaborate more on that. And any feedback is appreciated. I love you guys. Stay strong. Don't compare yourself, and just continue to do you. Boo for you. Okay, bye guys.